Hello, hi, good evening everyone. I am back again on my Insta Live, and this time we are doing an Instagram Live on Tuesday rather than on a Sunday. I was a little occupied on Sunday, and that's the reason why I thought I should do a live on this particular day. And today we are talking about a very interesting topic. जैसे मैंने बताया था that for the month of February we'll be talking about relationships only. We spoke about how to have a good relationship with your partner, how to have a good relationship with your girlfriend, boyfriend, or starting if you're getting into a relationship. Today we are talking about how to improve your relationship with your children. So all the parents in house, I invite all the parents in house to talk about this particular topic. If you have any of your friends or colleagues who also would be interested with this topic, please do share the link with them so that they can join us on our live today, and you can ask me any question pertaining to parenting. So today I'm going to share with you some very important realistic real-time tips which I have adopted in my life because I'm a parent of 2 children. It comes from a very live experience. And that's the reason why I'm sharing with you what are some of the very interesting tips or parenting techniques that you can do with your children. और वो चाहे कोई भी age के हो, because I have 2 children. I have a teenage daughter, and I have a young son, a 9-year-old son. So दोनों ही situations में किस तरह से आप अपने बच्चों के साथ relationship अच्छा कर सकते हो, किस तरह से उसे बढ़ा सकते हो, उसके बारे में मैं आज बात करने वाली हूँ. And अगर आपके कोई भी सवाल है, you can put it live on the comment section here. I will be more than happy to take your question. You can also raise up your hand and you can come live with me if you have any question pertaining to this particular topic. I'll be more than happy to take your questions and take you live with me. Alright, let me quickly say hi to people who've just joined in. Priyanka Rao, hi, good evening Priyanka, thanks for joining in. Vijay Kataria, thanks for joining in Vijay. Ronak Khopar, Hari Photographer, thank you for joining in guys. Motivational speaker Vipin, hey motivational speaker Vipin, thanks for joining guys. Digital Pooja, hi Pooja, how are you? Nitesh, hi, good evening Nitesh, good to see you live. Okay, so like I said guys, I am Swati Arora, Mindcoach Swati, and I'm talking about relationships. The entire month of February I'm bringing live and very realistic tips on relationships. So today's topic is exclusively for parents जिनके बच्चे हैं और कोई भी एज ग्रुप के बच्चे हों आपके, चाहे वो छोटे बच्चे हों, चाहे वो यंग अडल्ट हो, चाहे वो टॉडलर्स हो, चाहे वो एडोलेसेंट हो, या चाहे वो टीनेजर हो, या उससे भी बड़े हो आपके बच्चे. This topic will pertain to you as a parent, how you can improve your relationship with your children. So stay put, and if you have any questions, you can put in your questions here. I will be more than happy to answer those questions. All right. So the first thing is I'm going to share with you 10 tips on how you can improve your relationship with your children. I'm going to talk about one tip each at one time, and मैं उसको elaborate भी करने वाली हूँ कि ऐसा मैं क्यों बोल रही हूँ. जैसे मैंने बताया मेरे लाइव एक्सपीरियंस के साथ में मैं आपको बता रही हूँ कि ये टिप्स जो है वो क्यों वर्क करते हैं इन अ रियल लाइफ सिचुएशन. सो मैं आपके साथ में ये शेयर करने वाली हूँ, एंड अगर आपके कोई सवाल है तो यू कैन डेफिनेटली आस्क योर क्वेश्चंस पर्टेनिंग टू योर पर्टिकुलर रिलेशनशिप विथ योर चाइल्ड. You can put in your questions here. Alright, so the first thing in a parent-child relationship, we know we are all very busy. The reason why we are talking about it is very important. The first thing I'd like to say is, guys, we don't come with a relationship manual. हम लोग जब पेरेंट्स बनते हैं, स्पेशली जब न्यू पेरेंट्स होते हैं, फर्स्ट टाइम अगर हम पेरेंट बनते हैं, हमें कुछ नहीं पता होता पेरेंटिंग के बारे में, क्योंकि बच्चा अगर पहले है तो पेरेंट भी तो हम पहली बार बने हैं. सो इसलिए वी डोंट हैव अ मैनुअल और अ स्टडी गाइड विद अस, कि ये चीजें फॉलो करनी है, इस तरह से उसको हैंडल करना है, इस तरह से रिलेशनशिप को ग्रो करना है. सो ऑब्वियसली वी ऑल लर्न फ्रॉम आवर मिस्टेक्स, वी ऑल लर्न बाय डूइंग मिस्टेक्स एंड देन implementing them in the future. But what I'm going to share with you is something which comes from my real life tips, and obviously a lot of other friends and all the women that I have seen around my life. So I'm bringing a composition of all of that for you, so that if you are in that journey of parenthood, motherhood or fatherhood, you can blossom as a parent and you can be very good and improvised for your child. So I'm going to talk about that, and if अगर आपके कोई सवाल है, please feel free to shoot out your questions here, comment section में डालिए. I will be more than happy to take your questions. Alright, let me quickly say hi to people who've just joined in, guys. Hari Photographer, thanks for joining in. Ajas, thanks for joining in, Ajas. Women Theory, hi Women Theory, thanks for joining in, dear. Jai Bhatnagar, hey Jai, good to see you. Harshad Sawant, thanks for joining in. Coach MSMAK, thank you for joining in, Saqib. Wonderful to see you here. All right, so before I start, let me just share with you once again. Today we are talking all about parenting. We're talking about how we can improve our relationship with our children. और वो चाहे कोई भी एज ग्रुप के हो, ये जो टिप्स मैं आपको बताने वाली हूँ, ये रियल लाइफ टिप्स है जो मैंने अडेप्ट करे हैं अपने बच्चों के साथ में. ऑब्वियसली हम सब मिस्टेक्स करते हैं. एज अ फर्स्ट टाइम मदर मैंने बहुत सारे मिस्टेक्स किए, बहुत सारे गूफअप्स किए अपने डॉटर को रेस करने के लिए. एंड उन सारे मिस्टेक से मैंने सीखा है ताकि मैं अपने जो सेकेंड चाइल्ड है, मेरे बेटे के साथ में, वो सेम चीजें रिपीट ना कर सकूं. सो फर्स्ट चीज जो मैंने सीखी है, जो मैं शायद पहले नहीं अडेप्ट करती थी या पहले उतना ज्यादा नहीं शो करती थी, was show your love. Show your love with your child as much as you can. Now that was a constant struggle that I faced. I coming from a very, very, introvert background. I coming from a South Indian, typically, background जहाँ पर हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा lovey-dovey नहीं show करते हैं. We don't show a lot of love proactively, not only as a parent, but otherwise also we are very, very reserved in showing our love. And that's how I was brought up. I don't know everyone else is like that or no, but I was brought up like that. And this is exactly what happened in my first born child. I was very, very, I would say, conservative in showing my love to her. I would not really cuddle her too much. I would not give her too many hugs. I would not tell her that I love you and I care for you all the time. ये मैं vocalize नहीं करती थी, verbalize नहीं करती थी. As a result of that, I realized as she grew up, she started to have some grudges or some, things in her mind कि my mother doesn't love me as much as she loves my brother. So this is what I realize now. And now that I've grown as a mother as well, I definitely show my love and attention to both my children and make sure that I appreciate them, make sure that I give them those and it's very important. When I say show your love, it's not only by talking to them, just saying them that I love you or I care for you. 10 बार दिन में ये बोलने से नहीं होता, but आप उनको, जैसे आप ऑफिस से आते हो, quickly cuddle them, hug them, just ask them how was your day, spend time with them. All these things are gestures of love. Spend some good क्वालिटी टाइम विद देम. जब आप अपने बच्चों के साथ बैठते हो, मोबाइल फ्री बैठिए, खुद आप भी मोबाइल साइड में रखिए और अपने बच्चों के भी मोबाइल्स को उठा के रख दीजिए. प्रॉब्लम ये होता है, हम लोग आजकल गैजेट्स के जमाने में हैं. हम एक घर में होते हैं, जितने लोग हैं उतने गैजेट्स होते हैं. कभी कभी गैजेट्स लोगों से ज्यादा होते हैं. और ये टिपिकल एनवायरनमेंट है घर में कि हर एक इंडिविजुअल जो है घर पे, चाहे वो फादर हो, मदर हो, बच्चे हो या इवन ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स हो, सबके हाथ में मोबाइल होता है और सब अपने अपने मोबाइल में होते हैं. बट देयर शुड बी वन टाइम ऑफ द डे, whether it is during dinner time or during breakfast time or whenever you feel that it's more conducive for your entire family to come together and talk, that is the time when you should have a gadget free time. आप कोई भी time decide कर लीजिए, but at least 10-15 minutes of the day you should spend some gadget free time with your children. Talk to them about them. How do they feel? How are they coping up with school? How are they coping up with online education? How are they now that they have started to go to school? How are they coping up with that? Are they liking it, not liking it? एवरीथिंग आपके बच्चे के सारे दिनचर्या के बारे में, जैसे आप घर आते हो उनसे बात कीजिए ताकि आपका और उनका कनेक्शन जो है वो बना रहेगा. एंड कम्युनिकेशन, लाइक आई ऑलवेज से, कम्युनिकेशन is the key for any relationship to succeed. चाहे वो parent child relationship हो, चाहे वो spouse relationship हो, चाहे वो sibling relationship हो, चाहे वो कोई भी relationship हो, जितना ज़्यादा आप communicate करेंगे, जितना ज़्यादा आप बातें करेंगे, जितनी ज़्यादा आप share करेंगे openly अपने एक दूसरे के साथ में, उतना ज़्यादा आप एक दूसरे को समझ पाएंगे. प्रॉब्लम ये होता है हम ज़्यादा टाइम अपने गैजेट्स के साथ बिताते हैं या ज़्यादा टाइम हम ऑफिस घर के बाहर बिताते हैं, बच्चों के साथ ज़्यादा समय नहीं बिता पाते. इसलिए ये एक रिचुअल बना लीजिए कि जब आप घर आएँ कुछ 10 मिनट या 15 मिनट आप अपने बच्चों के साथ में स्पेंड कीजिए और उनके साथ उनके बारे में बात कीजिए, पूरे दिन में क्या हुआ है. सो दैट इज माई फर्स्ट टिप, दैट learn to show your love or express your love for all the parents, for all the mothers and fathers who haven't been able to do that, who have kept their love to themselves. कभी कभी हम लोग बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट होते हैं, हम नहीं दिखाना चाहते कि हम बच्चों को बहुत प्यार करते हैं क्योंकि ऐसा लगेगा कि हम उन्हें पैम्पर कर रहे हैं या हो सकता है वो बिगड़ जाए बच्चा, इसलिए हम नहीं दिखाते. बट लेट मी टेल यू फ्रेंड्स, it is my learning that I'm sharing with you. It's not important to feel that, I mean, I know that it feels that मैं ज़्यादा उसको affection दिखाऊंगी तो बच्चा शायद बिगड़ जाएगा. But they do need that love, equal portion of love. Not too much also, not too little also. They need that love from you because ultimately you're their parents, right? So they're looking up to you for that love. और जैसे जितना आप एक्सप्रेसिव बनेंगे उतना ही बच्चा आगे जाके एक्सप्रेसिव बनेगा, वरना वो भी आप ही की तरह सबमर्ज रह जाएगा, एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पाएगा अपना प्यार. All right, so let me quickly say a hi to all of those people who've just joined in. Wonderful to see so many people joining in, guys. Ravi Bhatnagar, hi Ravi, thanks for joining in. Own the Struggle. Chima Radhika, hi, thanks for joining in Radhika. Ramlal, Smart Sambhu, thanks for joining in, guys. Sandeep Kaul, thanks for joining in, sir. Abhijit, hi Abhijit, thanks for joining in. Kavita Sahu, Dylan, good evening Dylan, thank you for joining in. Cheerful 24 vibes, thanks for joining in, guys. Wonderful, that handle really looks cheerful. So guys, like जैसे मैंने बताया, हम relationships के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं इस entire February में. February is all about love and relationships. We are talking about that. हमने कुछ episodes किए थे पहले talking about relationship on with your partners, कैसे आप improve कर सकते हैं. आज की topic है relationship with your children. कैसे आप अपने बच्चों के साथ relationship improve कर सकते हैं. As a parent आप कैसे better बन सकते हैं. I'm sure हम सारे इस इसमें लगे रहते हैं हमेशा कि I want to become the best father, I want to become the best mother on the earth, to make sure that my child gets the best education and the best life. So that's what I'm sharing with you, some real life examples, some real life tips which you can also agree and follow in your life, where you can improvise your relationship with your children. And if you have any questions, any particular questions on parenting, parenthood, motherhood, fatherhood, whatever, you can please share your questions here. I will be more than happy to take those questions, guys. All right. Talking about the next tip. Like I said, the first point was show your love, express your love, be more communicative. The second point is set your boundaries and rules and consequences as well. कई बार हो जाता है, हम देखते हैं पेरेंट्स बहुत ज़्यादा बच्चों को पैम्पर कर देते हैं, स्पेशली अगर सिंगल चाइल्ड है, ये बहुत आसानी से हो जाता है. आपकी गलती नहीं है, आपका एक ही बच्चा है, एक लौता बच्चा है, तो ऑब्वियसली आप सारा अफेक्शन, सारा केयर, सारा लव, सारा उसको आप अटेंशन देंगे. लेकिन as a result what happens is the child starts to move out of your hand. The child gets used to all this attention and care and वो over exaggerate हो जाता है. They get overwhelmed and they don't know how to handle that. As a result we see children are a little more pampered and become more troublesome later. और ये हम देखना शुरू कर देते हैं as a pattern of their behavior. They become more naggy, they become cranky, they become more demanding. And as a parent आप उनकी सारी ख्वाहिशें fulfill कर रहे हो, लेकिन आपको धीरे धीरे लगने लगता है कि हाँ, अब ये जो है, ये बैरियर जो है वो शिफ्ट होता जा रहा है because I have pampered my child too much. So for such kind of parents, I did not ever face this problem because I was always a strict robotic mom, that policeman mom. But yes, I have seen a lot of my friends go through this problem. All I would want to say is set some ground rules. As a parenting, rule, it should be there that you have to have some ground rules. सारी चीजें हम आपके लिए करेंगे, लेकिन कुछ हमारी शर्तें हैं, कुछ कंडीशंस है, कुछ रूल्स है जो एज अ चाइल्ड आपको फॉलो करनी है. एंड दैट कुड बी कंप्लीटली सब्जेक्ट टू योर डिस्क्रिप्शन. व्हाट इज योर डिसिप्लिन क्राइटेरिया विथ योर चिल्ड्रन? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू कैन सेट रूल्स दैट okay, you can watch television no matter how much you want to watch, but this time to this time is study time and there's no compromise on that. Or if you want to set some ground rules that okay, you can watch your TV, you can be on the mobile phone, you can be on the tablet, on the laptop throughout the day, but during this time to this time it should be family time and there should be no gadget time. और यू कुड हैव फॉर अ टीनेजर फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ये बहुत कॉमन होता है अगर जब बच्चे ग्रो होने लग जाते हैं, टीनेज के एज में आने लग जाते हैं, जब वो दे स्टार्ट टू मूव आउट ऑफ द हाउस, दे स्टार्ट टू मीट फ्रेंड्स, दे स्टार्ट टू गो पार्टीइंग एंड दे स्टार्ट टू हैंग अराउंड विद फ्रेंड्स. आपको ग्राउंड रूल्स रखने हैं कि फाइन, यू गो आउट विद योर फ्रेंड्स, बट आई नीड टू नो whom you're going out with, I need to know where you're going out, I need to know when you're going to come back, I need to know your whereabouts, maybe you can share your live location, etc. So as a parent you need to set your ground rules and your children need to follow those ground rules. आपको हर लड़ाई को immediately pick up करके लड़ना नहीं है. You have to let them a little loose as well, trust them as well, but yes, you have to keep your ground rules, your boundaries very much in place so that your children know exactly what they are up for and you know what they are doing whenever they are even not in the house. Alright, so that's the second thing that I wanted to share with you, that set boundaries, very very clear boundaries with your children, set rules and regulations, maybe not on everything. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप रूल बुक लेके बैठे हो और उनको सारी चीजें फॉलो करनी है, but yes, when you set some basic ground rules. आपके बच्चों को पता है that there is no negotiation on these particular ground rules. For the others, they can come and talk to you. So that kind of stuff, if you have a healthy relationship with your children, they will be able to acknowledge and learn the discipline. And like I always say, discipline is very very important in life. हमें आज पता चल रहा है, बच्चों की तरह बच्चे जब हम थे, हमारे पेरेंट्स हमें डिसिप्लिन करते थे, हमारे टीचर्स हमें डिसिप्लिन करते थे, हमारे स्कूल में utmost डिसिप्लिन होता था, but that result is giving, that the benefit is being given to us today. We are learning that today, that how a disciplined life becomes much more successful, much more mature, rather than a life which is randomly being lived. So I'm sure as parents you want to discipline your child, so set boundaries, expectations, and tell them what's the consequences also if they don't follow those ground rules, which means अगर आपने ये follow नहीं किया, so maybe they will have to be reprimanded, maybe they will not get the benefits that they were usually getting, maybe they will not get that much movie time, they will not get to go that much outside, whatever. जो आपके ground rules है आप उनको clearly expectation setting कर दीजिए, ताकि आपको बार बार उसे nagging ना करना पड़े या उनके साथ में argumentative ना होना पड़े. So that was the second tip of the evening. Thank you so much, and let me quickly say a hi to people who've just joined in. Hey Sanjana, Sana, thanks for joining in, dear. Hi Kirit 445, thanks for joining in, Kirit. Alright guys, so जैसे मैं बता रही थी, today we are talking about parenting tips. Today we are talking about what are the things that you can do as a parent to improve your relationship with your children. I have already shared 2 wonderful tips with you. One is about how you can express your emotions, how you can show them that you love them every day, and how you can communicate to them in a much better way. The other is obviously set your ground rules, set your boundaries, set your expectations so that the children don't go haywire. Pamper karna bhi zaruri hai, lekin pull out karna bhi zaruri hai. So there has to be a there's a thin line in parenting always, and you need to really grab hold of that thin line so that the child doesn't go out of that thin line. So that limit setting is very, very important. All right. Next point is, जैसे मैंने कहा, communication. One essential point of communication, element of communication is listening. Listening to our children and empathizing with them is very, very important. What I feel is, and what I see in these days is, especially in the teenage children, the children who grow up to a particular age, especially in households where both parents are working, they're both busy with their work, they don't have time for the children, and genuine ये reason होता है कि आपके पास time नहीं होता बच्चों के लिए. Obviously, I'm also a working mother, so I can really understand that you come home around 8:30, 9 o'clock, have dinner, and that's the time to go to sleep, and the next day morning, early morning, again the routine starts. So you definitely don't get that much time. But I would say cut out a particular time in the day, or maybe once a week, or maybe twice a week, to just sit down and listen to your children. Communication is not only about talking to your children, telling them what you expect, setting ground rules, or telling them this is supposed to be done, this is not supposed to be done, but also to be able to openly listen to them. उनकी क्या problems है, उनके साथ क्या चल रहा है उनकी life में, especially जब बच्चे grow हो रहे होते हैं, they're going through that adolescence age, they're going through the puberty, they're going through teenage years, they're going through a lot of hormonal changes. What is that's going on in their mind? What is bothering them? What is really happening in their social life? How many friends do they have? What kind of friends do they have? I would say listen to everything. Try to nudge them down, try to understand, try to probe कि आपके life में क्या चल रहा है. Try to be their best friend. And only if you are able to listen to them and empathize. When I say empathize, if you are able to understand their problems. अगर हम एक ऐसे सोचेंगे कि हम parent हैं, हम बच्चे के level पे जाके नहीं बात करेंगे, obviously आप कभी भी बच्चे को understand नहीं कर पाएंगे. But if you put yourself as your in the shoes of your child. For example, I'll give you my example. I have a teenage daughter and if I have to ask her anything, if I have to talk to her, if I have to give her some solutions, whether she's facing any solutions with her friends, with her whatever, in her college or in her social circle, if she's facing any challenge, or if she's if someone is bullying her or anything like that, I have to get down to her level to understand ki kya chal raha hai, exactly what's happening, what exactly did that person say, how exactly did she react, and all of this entire episode I have to hear from her and be in that moment, be exactly like like in that particular person's shoe and not be like a parent. तभी आप जाके as a friend उनको help कर पाएंगे. And trust me, the day when you become your child's best friend, that's the day when your child will really be open, and very, very openly he or she will communicate with you. They will not keep anything hidden with you. You know, that relationship bonding, ये आप ही को बनाना होगा. आपका बच्चा वो नहीं बना पाएगा, because obviously as a parent you will always be 10,000 feet above. But अगर आपको वो 10,000 feet को कम करना है, उनके लेवल पे आना है, तो ये एफर्ट आप ही को करना होगा और आप ही को उनको ट्रस्ट दिलाना होगा कि you can talk to me openly. I will be not judging you. I will be giving you advice. I will be listening to you. I'll be understanding your problem and I'll try to give you more solutions. So अगर आप इस तरह से relationship अपने बच्चे के साथ बनाते हैं, definitely your child will never ever hide anything from you. That's the biggest fear of parents, right? That my child will do something which is not supposed to be done, something unethical. They will maybe get into smoking or drugs or alcohol or boyfriends or girlfriends, and they will never tell me what is going to happen to them. So ये सारा fear आपके दिमाग में कभी नहीं रहेगा अगर आप इस तरह से communicate करेंगे अपने बच्चे के साथ में, which means talk to them about them as a friend and not as a parent. And especially in the teenage years, they need us as parents much more than when they were children. हमें लगता है कि छोटे छोटे बच्चों को ही parents की जरूरत है, लेकिन नहीं, teenagers को parents की जरूरत ज्यादा होती है, because that's the time they're facing a lot of changes within their body, within their environment, and even outside in the environment. So they need to really have our support at that point in time. Alright, let me quickly say hi to people who have just joined in. Munish, hi, thanks for joining in, Munish. Antex59, hey Antex, thanks for joining in. Ashok Makwana, hey, good evening Ashok, thanks for joining in. English with Deepti, hi Deepti, good evening, thanks for joining in. So guys, like I said, I'm talking about relationship, and today एक्सक्लूसिव टॉपिक इज ऑन पेरेंटिंग, कि किस तरह से आप एक बेटर पेरेंट बन सकते हैं. मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूँ कि आप अच्छे पेरेंट नहीं हैं. आई एम श्योर वी ऑल इवॉल्व. मैं खुद अपने आप के बारे में ये कह रही हूँ कि एज अ फर्स्ट टाइम मदर, जब मेरी फर्स्ट डॉटर हुई थी, आई वॉज अ पथेटिक मदर. आई वॉज वेरी केयरलेस. आई नेवर पेड दैट मच अटेंशन टू हर. आई वॉज ऑब्वियसली एट द मर्सी ऑफ माई इन लॉज बिकॉज दे वर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ हर थ्रू आउट, एंड आई वॉज वेरी वेरी यंग टू इवन बी अ मदर टू हर. सो but yes, with time, with age, I learned that. And when my second child was born, I was much more in control. I was much more a better mother, because मैंने जो mistakes पहले किए थे, वो obviously I was not repeating with him. And obviously now my relationship is much more stronger with both my children, thanks to the situation that we are in right now, thanks to the communication that we built up over the years, thanks to this transparent trust and faith that we have in each other. I think that's really worked in our favor. So that's what I'm sharing with you guys. Very real life examples, scenarios जो आप अपने बच्चों के साथ में प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं और आपका रिलेशनशिप आपके बच्चों के साथ बढ़ा सकते हैं, इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं. So if you have any questions, please do shoot out your questions. कोई प्रैक्टिकल, कोई रियल लाइफ सिनारियो भी है, वो भी आप दे सकते हैं, या मेरे साथ लाइव भी आ सकते हैं अगर कोई पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन है तो. Alright, so let me take on the next point. हमने already 3 points के बारे में बात कर लिया है. The first point is express your emotions. Learn to express your emotions. Learn to express your love with your children. That is very essential. The second point is set your boundaries. As a parent, आपको अपनी expectations, अपनी boundaries set करना बच्चों के साथ बहुत ज़रूरी है. And the third is listening and empathy. Listening to your children is very important, especially when your children are going through teenage years. जब उनके life में बहुत सारे changes आ रहे internally, externally. आप as a parent अगर उनके best friend बन जाते हैं, उनकी बातों को सुनते हैं, उनको समझते हैं, उनको एम्पथाइज करते हैं, उन्हें सॉल्यूशंस दे पाते हैं, डेफिनेटली उनको बाहर जाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. That is one of the biggest reasons why children move out of the house and go and take shelter with other people. They get into wrong company, they get into wrong hands, just because they don't get that support in the house. They don't get the friend in the house, and that's the reason why they seek for friendship, and they kind of get some unnecessary kind of friends outside, which is going to be troublesome for them in the future. So it's very important to build that bonding at this point in time, especially during this point in time. That brings me to my next point, which is play together. Play together, which means spend time with your children as children. A lot of parents, especially इस pandemic ने हमें सिखा दिया है that हमें अपनी fitness का भी ध्यान रखना है. When I say play together doesn't really mean only physical activities, physical exercises, but once in a while, once in a week, once in a fortnight, if you are able to spend some good quality time with your children, play with them, चाहे वो इंडोर एक्टिविटी हो, चाहे वो आउटडोर एक्टिविटी हो, चाहे आप उनको कहीं पर रिसोर्ट में ले जाइए, उनके साथ में डे स्पेंड कीजिए, चाहे आप उनके साथ में 2 घंटा बैडमिंटन खेल लीजिए, चाहे आप उनके साथ स्विम के लिए चले जाइए, चाहे आप उनके साथ साइकिलिंग कर लीजिए, चाहे आप उनके साथ में लूडो खेल लीजिए घर पे. Whatever you can do, but spend some time and play together. What difference it makes is, I'm sure you will say that वो हर रोज खेलते ही हैं, अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ खेलते हैं, मुझे क्यों एंगेज होना है. Playing is one activity, sport is one activity which brings out the child in all of us. And your child definitely wants to see the child in their parent, because they can resonate with it much more than what they can resonate on the normal days. Normal days आप हमेशा हिटलर की तरह होते हैं, पुलिसमैन की तरह होते हैं, जो रूल्स रेगुलेशन सेट करते हैं, जो डांटते हैं, जो उनको बताते हैं, इंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं, गाइड करते हैं, मेंटर करते हैं. लेकिन इस दिन स्पेशली जब आप उनकी तरह, उनके जैसे बन जाते हैं, तो उनका जो कनेक्ट है, उनका जो बॉन्ड है आपके साथ, वो आप खुल के देखेंगे और आप देखेंगे कि आपका बच्चा उस दिन के बाद आपसे बहुत ज्यादा पैली हो रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा आपके साथ एंजॉय कर रहा है. And I have never seen a single child on earth who does not enjoy spending time and playing with their parents, be it the mother or their father. I would recommend all of you all to do that. It'll really bring out the child in you as well, and it'll let your child enjoy the child in you as well. So do that activity. Make this a ritual once in a week or once in a fortnight. It'll be good for you as well, for your mental and physical peace, and for your child as well. All right, so let me quickly take a pause here and say a hi to everyone who's just joined in. PKS15, thanks for joining in. Chetan R36, hi Chetan sir, thanks for joining in. SN Shah, thanks for joining in. SN Shah. Prajapati Rohit, hi Prajapati Rohit, thanks for joining in. Ishan Mewawala, thanks for joining in guys. So guys, आज हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं पेरेंटिंग रिलेशनशिप के बारे में. मतलब आपका रिलेशनशिप अपने बच्चों के साथ कैसे आप अच्छा कर सकते हैं, कैसे नर्चर कर सकते हैं, इसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं. स्पेशली आप ये कहेंगे स्वाति इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, हम बचपन से सीखते आ रहे हैं, देखते आ रहे हैं कि बच्चों को कैसे ग्रो करना है. स्पेशली इस तरह के जो एनवायरनमेंट में आज हम जिस एनवायरनमेंट में हैं, जिस एज एंड वर्ल्ड में हैं, बच्चे हमसे ज़्यादा समझदार हो गए हैं, बच्चे हमसे ज़्यादा लॉजिकल हो गए, बच्चों के पास हमसे ज़्यादा रिसोर्सेज आ गए हैं. सो इसीलिए बहुत टैक्टफुली, बहुत लॉजिकली, बहुत समझदारी से उनको हैंडल करना is extremely important. Otherwise, you lose the track, you lose track with them, you'll probably end up into something which you don't want to get into. So that's the reason why, especially the growing children, the teenage and above children, you really need to handle them tactfully, because they have a lot of resources. Unlike the 80s kid and the 70s kid, they have everything at their disposal. उनके पास हर चीज अवेलेबल है, चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजी हो, चाहे वो anything, access to the social media, access to the social world, the media outside, everything they have access to it, and they can do far more better if their energies are channelized. So as a parent, you need to guide them, otherwise they fall into the wrong hands and start doing wrong things which you don't want them to do. All right, so let me talk about the next point now. Create parent-child rituals. When I say create parent-child rituals, I'm particularly talking about आप उनके साथ में ऐसा कौन सा टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं, किस तरह से टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं, क्या रिचुअल स्पेंड करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अभी मैंने आपको बताया, यू कैन प्ले विद देम, यू कैन एंजॉय सम वन डे और हाफ अ डे विद देम, मे बी ऑन अ संडे और समथिंग, यू कैन गो आउट फॉर अ स्विम एक्सेट्रा. सिमिलरली कुछ पेरेंट चाइल्ड रिचुअल्स आप रख सकते हैं, या कुछ रिचुअल्स कुड बी दैट मे बी यू डू सम चोर्स एंड द चाइल्ड ऑल्सो डज सम चोर्स. मे बी गिविंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू योर चिल्ड्रन एज वेल इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. स्पेशली हमने पैंडेमिक में अगेन ये देखा है कि बच्चों को आप इन्वॉल्व करते हैं घर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज में भी. इससे क्या है, हम उनको इक्विप कर रहे हैं, हम उन्हें बता रहे हैं, उनको रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी देके हम उनको डेलीगेट करके उनको हम सिखा रहे हैं चीजें फॉर अ फ्यूचर, फॉर अ बेटर फ्यूचर, एंड दे आर ऑल्सो प्रीटी मच इन्वॉल्व इन द जॉब्स ऑफ द हाउस. सो दैट्स वन गुड थिंग दैट यू कैन डू विथ योर चिल्ड्रन, नो मैटर वट एवर एज योर चाइल्ड इज. I mean, I have got my 6-year-old, 7-year-old son to clean the floor as well. I'm not saying become a ruthless mother, do all of that. But yes, बच्चों को अपनी छोटी छोटी चीज़ें, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज पता होनी ज़रूरी है. ये डिसिप्लिन है लाइफ का. आप अपने दे कैन लर्न टू मेक द बेड, दे कैन लर्न टू क्लीन देयर अलमीराज, दे कैन लर्न टू maybe do some dusting sometime, they can learn to keep the utensils in the rack, they can learn to just fold their clothes and keep them in the cupboard. Small things अगर आप बच्चों को तब से सिखाएंगे, चाहे वो लड़का हो या लड़की हो, irrespective of the age. I am completely gender non-biased, but if you are teaching them all of those things, you are teaching them basic life skills so that tomorrow they can grow up to become more independent adults and not really dependent on parents all the time. So these are the small things which you can do. I mean, and as the children grow, you can teach them how to do basic cooking as well. You can teach them how to take care of the house. You can teach them basic chores of the house, or even manage things outside. अगर कुछ बाहर से लेके आना है, you can really teach them all of those things to make them more independent. जितना आप बच्चे को धीरे करके सिखाएंगे, वो उनके लिए ही अच्छा है. Maybe they repel in the first go, but it will be good for them, and it will only make them independent in the long run. They will be thankful to you. Today I'm sure they'll be cribbing about it, but tomorrow, trust me, they'll be thankful to you that you have made them teach something that the other kids do not know. Or maybe you've just taught them to be independent at an age which the other kids were not. So try to do those small things so that आपके बच्चे जो हैं independently जी सके जब वो grow up हो जाएं. All right, I'll just take a pause here and just say a hi to people who've just joined in. Maloop 982, thanks for joining in, Maloop. Spirit and C, thanks for joining in. Spirit and C. Priya Mehtani, thanks for joining in, Priya. So guys, I'm talking about parenting. I'm talking about how you can improve your relationship with your children. I have already shared some wonderful real life scenarios and tips with you. Me being a mother of 2 children, I have a young son and I have a teenage daughter, and I know exactly how it feels to manage both of them together, and what are the challenges of each of the children. चाहे वो बच्चा छोटा हो, चाहे वो बच्चा बड़ा हो, बच्चा तो बच्चा ही होता है. हर एक सिचुएशन में challenges होते हैं, issues होते हैं, concerns होते हैं. And as a parent, how do we handle all those concerns? How do we maintain a good relationship, a healthy relationship with our children is very, very important, and that's what we are talking about today. So अगर आपके कोई भी सवाल है, please take a moment and write down those questions in the comment section. I will be more than happy to take your questions. Okay, so that brings me to my 4th point, boosting your child's self-esteem or self-confidence. That is very, very important. Now, how do I say that you can boost your child's self-esteem? The one thing that you should never do is not compare. Comparison is an enemy for joy. I always keep saying that. किसी चीज से comparison मत कीजिए बच्चे को. हम लोग randomly, subconsciously हम बच्चे को हमेशा compare करते हैं. अरे वो आपसे ज़्यादा अच्छा है, होशियार है पढ़ाई में. अरे वो देखो, he can run faster than you. Oh my God, that child is much more brilliant than you. He can solve that problems very quickly. Why aren't you able to do that? You know what, your friend got 90%, you're such a duffer, you got only 75%. ऐसे comments जब हम मारते हैं as parents, subconsciously भी अगर हम बोलते हैं, हम शायद उस टाइम पे ये सोच नहीं पाते, लेकिन बच्चे के दिमाग में हम इतना बुरा असर करते हैं. And I have, as a coach, I have really experienced so many adults, and I'm talking about adults now. मैंने बहुत सारे adults की coaching में ये देखा है कि उनके child एज में उनके साथ में ये चीज़ें हुई हैं जो उनके दिमाग में मार्क करके गई हैं, और बिकॉज ऑफ दैट दे हैव डेवलप्ड सेल्फ एस्टीम इश्यूज, बिकॉज constantly someone has been telling them that they're no good. Someone has constantly told them they are not good in comparison to some other child. Someone has constantly nudged them and told them that they are second best, they are not the first best. Maybe there were 2 children and they've always been compared कि you're the second best, you're not the first best. So एक चीज उनके दिमाग में घर कर गई है, which is that they are no good. And that's the reason why no matter how good that person is, no matter how capable that person is as a grown up adult, he is not able to do anything in his life just because वो चीज जो है उसके self esteem को shatter करके गई है. So I would request all of you parents, and I say that all the time in my parenting sessions as well, if you are a parent, please be very careful of what words you use in front of your children. Now let me tell you, me as well, I as a parent also used to do that. बिकॉज हमें नहीं पता, वी नेवर रियलाइज इट, हम जो बोलते हैं उसका इतना गहरा असर होता है. आई ऑल्सो यूज टू डू दैट समटाइम्स. आई यूज टू ऑल्सो टेल माई चिल्ड्रन, you know what, look at this, he's doing better than you, look at that guy, he's fairer than you, he scored better marks in his exams than you. ये सब चीजें अगर जब मैं बोल रही थी, I did not realize that my child was developing a complex, an insecurity complex, and low self-esteem she was developing, because I was the one who was building that low self-esteem for her. Rather, what I need to do is boost their self-confidence. How do I boost that self-confidence? छोटी छोटी चीजें जो अच्छा करते हैं उन्हें एक्नॉलेज कीजिए. आप एक्नॉलेज आज करेंगे एक छोटी सी ड्राइंग पे, तो वो कल उससे ज्यादा अच्छी ड्राइंग करके दिखाएंगे. आज अगर आपने उनको 80% पे अप्रिशिएट किया, कल वो 85% लाकर दिखाएंगे. आज अगर आपने उनको अप्रिशिएट किया बिकॉज दे केम सेकेंड इन अ रेस, tomorrow they will come first in the race and show you. But you have to learn to boost your child's self-esteem and not really put them down all the time. It's not about winning all the time. It's not about getting 90% grades or 100% grades. It's about what your child is capable of doing. And as a parent, we need to give them that environment. Like they say, growing up children is like, planting trees. आप एक ट्री को, एक पौधे को पानी डाल सकते हैं, आप उसमें खाद डाल सकते हैं, उसमें सीड्स डाल सकते हैं, उसको टाइम दे सकते हैं, उसको अटेंशन दे सकते हैं. लेकिन वो पेड़ कितना बढ़ेगा वो आप डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. कब बढ़ेगा वो आप डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते. कितने फ्रूट्स बेयर करेगा, दैट यू कांट डिसाइड. दैट इज समथिंग ओनली टाइम विल टेल. Similarly, you can only give them an environment. You cannot pull them and make them grow. You cannot, push them to a limit where they can't grow so much. So as a parent, you really have to understand our job is to provide them a good environment, a good pitch where they can grow, they can nurture themselves, and not really push them too hard to become something that they are not. Today we see so many young adults, वो जाते हैं एक पर्टिकुलर फील्ड में, उसमें अनसक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं, फिर जंप करके किसी और फील्ड में जाते हैं, उसमें अनसक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं, फिर किसी और में फील्ड में जाते हैं, and eventually they say, you know what, Swati, I'm no good, I can't do anything in life because I've tried 1, 2, 3, 4 things and I really don't know what I want. Talk about passion, they don't know what their passion is. Talk about purpose, they don't know what their purpose is. Talk about what goals they want to achieve, they don't know that. Just because they have not been given that atmosphere, that environment when they were growing up. They were always being pressured into something that they never wanted to do. And that brings me to my next point, which is you as parents need to encourage your child's decision making skills. Now you may say, Swati, वो तो बहुत छोटे हैं, decision कैसे लेंगे? छोटे बच्चे भी डिसीजन ले सकते हैं. द फैक्ट दैट they need to decide on what they need to eat today, that is a decision that they can make, right? What they need to wear today, let that decision be up to them. Where they need to go, which child they need to, which child they need to spend time with, how much time they need to spend. ये छोटी छोटी डिसीजंस तो लेने दीजिए उनको. आप लाइफ में उनके डिसीजन मेकिंग स्किल्स को भी हैम्पर कर देंगे, तभी वो बड़े होकर डिसीजन नहीं बना पाते हैं, लाइफ के बड़े लाइफ चेंजिंग डिसीजंस नहीं कर पाते हैं, just because all throughout our life we as parents have been crippling their decision making skills. We've been telling them what to do and they've been happily doing that, then to realize that it's not good for them. So I would request all parents to please encourage children to make more and more decisions. चाहे वो छोटी decisions हो, I see, a lot of mothers, they crib about, बच्चे ने बाल काट लिए, बहुत ज़्यादा कट गए, या कलर कर लिए बालों में. I don't like that. I got a little paranoid when my daughter Simone, she colored her hair pink for the first time. I think pink or purple. I was really paranoid. I was like, what are you doing to your hair? But then I realized, it is her decision. It is her hair. She will realize herself and then she will change it to the color that she wants. And that's what she's been doing. She didn't like that initially. She painted some other color. She got a purple done. She got a blue done. She got a green done. And these are small decisions. These are not life-threatening decisions. Yeah, अगर आपको कोई career stream choose करना है, किसी के साथ शादी करनी है, कोई ऐसा कोई life-changing decision लेना है, as a mother, I will guide you on that. Again, the decision is yours, completely yours. I need to enable them to take that decision, not really push my decision onto them. Because the day when I start doing that, I'm completely crippling them and I'm completely making them dependent on myself. Trust me, friends. friends, you don't want your children to be completely dependent on you, no matter how much we want that to happen, but it's not good for them as growing up adults. You have to enable them. जैसे कहते हैं ना कि बच्चे को अगर आप छोड़ देंगे, बाहर आसमान में घूमने देंगे, तब जाके वो आसमान को देखेगा और पता चलेगा उसे कि actually what is the world outside. If you only keep them cuddled and cushioned inside your house, they will never ever be able to grow. So please don't do that. Enable them to make more and more decisions. All right. Let me take a pause here and quickly say a hi to people who've just joined in. Mr. Muttu Raje, thanks for joining in. Sandeep Kamble 270. Hi Sandeep. Thank you for joining in. Priyanka, Transformation Coach. Thanks for joining in, Priyanka. Good to see you here. So guys, I'm talking about relationships, and today the topic exclusively is about relationship with your children, which means all the parents in house. I'm sure आपको बहुत सारे सवाल होंगे कि कैसे हमें अपने बच्चों के साथ डील करना है, स्पेशली टीनेज बच्चों के साथ में जब हमारे झगड़े होते हैं, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं, आर्ग्यूमेंट्स होते हैं, डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियंस होते हैं, हम कैसे डील करना है. ऐसा कोई भी सवाल है या कोई भी उसके अलावा भी और कोई सवाल है, प्लीज शूट आउट योर क्वेश्चंस हियर. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. And I'm talking to you, I'm giving you some real life tips, real life scenarios on how I have been managing my parenting with my children and how, touch wood, by the grace of God, I am still successful in that relationship. All right. So, sorry. The other things, next thing that I wanted to show is, talk about is be a good role model. Now, when I say that, be a good role model, I'm not saying that, you should be constantly under pressure. But remember, children do not follow what we say. Children follow what we do. Like parents, हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा ज्ञान दे देते हैं बच्चों को. ये करना चाहिए, ये नहीं करना चाहिए. You should not be rude to your parents, to your elders. You should never lie to your elders. You should never come late. You should be obedient. You should be polite. You should never back answer. ऐसी बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम बच्चों को बताते रहते हैं. लेकिन बच्चे वो सारी चीज़ें फॉलो नहीं करते. वो इसीलिए फॉलो नहीं करते क्योंकि हम उन्हें रियल लाइफ में एग्जिबिट नहीं करते. You have to understand first that वो हमें जैसे देखते हैं, जिस तरह से वो हमें देखते हैं, we have to lead by example. We have to be their role model. हमें कुछ बोलने की जरूरत ही ना पड़े, ऐसा situation होना चाहिए. Which means if I have my children to be disciplined, I have to be the first one to be disciplined. I can't be the one sleeping till about 10 o'clock in the morning and expecting my children to get up at 8 o'clock. If I want them to sleep early, I can't be sleeping at 2 o'clock in the night and expect my children to sleep at 10 o'clock. It's never going to happen. I'm sure ये थोड़ा बहुत leeway हो सकता है, but you have to be a role model. You have to showcase to them. अगर मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरे बच्चे कभी भी back answer ना करे किसी को, तो मुझे भी वो live करना होगा. I have to demonstrate what I'm telling them, right? I can't just rule over them. I can't just impose my rules onto them. I have to live by what I'm saying. अगर मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरे बच्चे किसी के साथ में बदतमीजी ना करे, कोई लेबरर के साथ में या कोई अंडर प्रिविलेज चाइल्ड के साथ बदतमीजी ना करे, सो आई ऑल्सो हैव टू बी दैट पर्सन. आई हैव टू लिव दैट पर्सन इन रियलिटी सो दैट माई चिल्ड्रन फॉलो दैट. यू कांट. आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ people, when mothers tell their children, अरे मेड्स के साथ ऐसे बात मत करो, अरे ड्राइवर्स के साथ ऐसे बात मत करो, बट आप खुद उनके साथ में तू तड़ाक करके बात करते हो, कभी कभी शाउट करते हो, कभी कभी अब्यूज करते हो. बच्चे आपके देख रहे हैं एंड दे विल डेफिनेटली फॉलो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, राइट? दे विल नॉट फॉलो व्हाट यू आर सेइंग. सो एज अ पेरेंट यू नीड टू बी वेरी वेरी माइंडफुल. आपके बच्चे आपको कॉन्स्टेंटली देख रहे हैं, आपकी हर बात को, आपकी हर एक्शन को, हर चीज को फॉलो कर रहे हैं. सो एज अ पेरेंट, more than the words, you need to be very very careful on your actions, what you're doing. If you want to be a good parent, you need to be a role model. You need to showcase what you're talking about. Walk the talk is very very important. So that brings me to my 7th point. All right. And like I said, today friends, I'm talking about parenting. I'm talking about what all you can do with your children to improve your relationship with your children. I've already talked about many such pointers with you, about communication, about setting ground rules, about expressing your love, about enabling them, about, how to make good decisions, about communicating your love to them, about listening to them and empathizing with them, and also about sharing, responsibility within the the house. So I've shared quite a lot of examples and relative scenarios with you. Now if I talk about argumentation, how to avoid argumentation, or how to handle, I would not say avoid argumentation, but how to handle argumentation, especially with your teenage kids. Now this is something which I have learned in my way, and I've kind of followed this completely through and through. Never ever drag a conversation. Never ever drag an argument. If you are not in agreement with your child, I would say take a break at that point in time. Stop over it, sleep over it, and come back and talk about it very, very logically, nicely the next day. There are a lot of times when you will have a this difference of opinion. You may be thinking X and your child would be thinking Y. For example, आपका child आपको आके बोलता है कि मुझे एक one night stay over के लिए जाना है अपने friend के पास में, and you as a parent, you don't want to agree on that because you've never agreed on that before. Now you have to first be logical, because you have never agreed on that before, or before you have not really allowed that. Is that going to be the same forever? That's going to be no, right? You have to logically think why he's going, with whom he's going, how much time he's going to spend, is he in good company, is he safe there, what is he going to eat, how is the communication flow going to happen. अगर आपको ये सारी चीजें पता है, I don't think as a parent you should be stopping that. So don't talk about it right now. Take some time, sleep over that thought, be a little rational, think about that situation from your child's perspective. Trust your child, believe your child, but as a parent, do your governance check as well. When I say governance check, ऑब्वियसली आप सारी चीजें चेक करोगे, आप उनके पेरेंट्स को फोन करोगे जहां वो जाने वाले हैं, आप उनके फ्रेंड से बात करोगे, आप पूरा आइटिनरी चेक करोगे, वो कहाँ जाने वाले हैं, किसके साथ रहने वाले हैं, क्या खाने वाले, कब तक वापस आने वाले, सारी चीजें आप पता करने के बाद में you can very nicely tell them, okay fine, next day you can say, okay, I'm allowing you this particular situation as a condition of XYZ things to be done. So that way, you could have a win-win situation rather than just snapping and saying, no, this is not possible. I think you could have a logical thought over it given later. So, best way to avoid confrontation or arguments or difference of opinion is stop the conversation right now. Think over it, sleep over it, give it a logical thought, and then come back and have a clear discussion with your child. Sometimes you may agree, sometimes you may not agree, but that doesn't mean that, you should not have a logical discussion with your child. Even if you do not agree, tell them the reason why you do not agree. They may not understand at that point in time, but आपका काम है ये समझाना उनको कि आपने क्यों उस चीज को मना किया है. और अगर आपने उसको हाँ किया है, तो भी आपको समझाना जरूरी है कि आपने किन रीजंस की वजह से उस चीज को हाँ किया है, so that they know that they should come to you for those reasons in the future. All right. Let me quickly take a pause here and say a hi to people who've just joined in. Ravindra Chauhan, Self-Healing Om. Hi guys, thanks for joining in. Hari Krishna Rao, thanks for joining in. Vineet Nair Insta, thanks for joining in. So guys, I am talking about relationships with your children, how you can improve your relationships with your children, how you can be a better parent, how you can nurture your relationship with your children. आज के भागते हुए दौड़ते हुए ज़माने में अपने बच्चों के साथ कैसे आप एक लॉजिकल, रैशनल और अच्छे पेरेंट बन सकते हैं, इसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं. आई हैव शेयर्ड अ लॉट ऑफ एग्जांपल्स, लॉट ऑफ रियल लाइफ टिप्स विथ यू, व्हाट आई डू विथ माय चिल्ड्रन. I also spend time, with my children in the same fashion. I do exactly the same thing that I've talked about. Nothing bookish, all real life examples. So go ahead and watch this entire video. It will give you a lot of insights. ये video मैं IGTV में भी डालूंगी और अपने YouTube video में भी डालूंगी. So you can go back and refer to this video even in the future. Now coming back to another point, which is, having to know your children's friends. Connection with your children's friends also is very, very important. As a parent, ये मैंने recently सीखा है. Especially with your teenage daughter or teenage son, if you are able to connect, if you are able to bond with your children's friends, that really gives you a lot of edge over the others. Because you come to know, you become, like I said, sometime back I was saying that you need to be your child's best friend. You need to become their friend so that they can tell you everything, they can confront with you everything, they can, not hide anything with you, they can talk to you like a friend. So similarly, अगर आप उनके friend circle में भी, मैं ये नहीं कहूँगी कि become intrusive as a mother or as a father, but if you are able to bond with their friends as well, couple of things इसमें advantage होगा. One is what her friend circle is all about. You will know what kind of children they hang out with, what kind of backgrounds they hang out with, what kind of children, what mentality do the children have, to what level extent they can go up to. You can prepare yourself and your child mentally on that. The second is the atmosphere you're building is very, very conducive. You're building a very healthy, conducive atmosphere for your child and her friends to come and talk to you. You're becoming like that happy aunt or happy uncle where everyone wants to talk to you. And in that kind of a situation, you will have a very, very healthy relationship, not only with your children, but the children of other the friends of your children as well. इस तरह से आप अपने safe zone में रह सकते हो अपने बच्चे के लिए भी और उनके friends के लिए भी, so that you know exactly what's happening in their life, what's troubling them, what's not bothering them, what makes them happy, what does not make them happy. ये सारी चीजें आपकी कंट्रोल में रहेंगी, आपकी आंखों के सामने रहेंगी. ये आपको करना, that could be one tip that I could say how you can increase your bonding with your teenage daughter or son. All right, let me take a pause here and say a hi to Preeti Kejriwal. Hi Preeti. Abhay Anurkar, thanks for joining in. Abhay. Unstoppable Kunal, thanks for joining in. Kunal Nange Pao, thanks for joining in. All right guys, so that brings me to the end of the session. I have shared with you some real life examples, what I follow with my children, on how I'm parenting my children, on the small things that I've shared with you about communication, about listening to them, about how you can manage arguments, how you can manage confrontations, difference of opinions, how you can keep your guidelines as well, and how you can, give them some decision making to themselves as well. Remember, as a parent, you don't have to fight all the battles. आप हर रोज एक battle लेके नहीं बैठ सकते उनके साथ में. You can't nitpick on all the small things. If you do that, you will be termed as a naggy mother or a naggy father. They will always be looking at you as if, okay, my mom is coming for another fight with me. That should not be the situation. You should have a very relaxed ambience in the house. Peace dwells peace, more peace. Happiness dwells more happiness. And these kind of negative feelings will dwell more negative feelings. So अगर आपको अपने environment में happy dwelling रखना है, happiness रखना है, peace environment रखना है, ये छोटी चीजें you have to learn to do is what some things you have to let go, some things you have to catch hold of, some ground rules you have to set, somewhere you can give them free space. And like I said, trust is very, very important in any relationship. अपने बच्चों के साथ में भी अगर आप trust रखेंगे, especially your growing up children, they will be able to openly talk to you. They will be able to come to you and kind of give in to you everything that's happening in their life. But अगर आपने उनके ऊपर हर छोटी चीज पे suspicion करने लग गए, mistrust करने लग गए, so obviously as a parent you have lost, because they will never come to you in that situation and they will always keep hiding things from you. So those were some of my wonderful real life examples and tips that I wanted to share with you. Like I said, I'm going to put up this video on my IGTV. It's also going to be there on my YouTube channel, so you can watch this video elaborately, sit down and watch this entire 1 hour video for yourself. And if you have any questions even after this, you can come back, you can DM me and I'll be more than happy to assist you. जैसे मैंने बताया, मैं बहुत सारी parenting coaching भी करती हूँ. I coach people on how to parent their children, and I also coach teenage children on how to manage their relationships otherwise as well. So if you have any questions on that, you can always DM me. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. So that brings me to the end of my session, friends. I had a lovely session with all of you guys and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you so much. I will see you again on Sunday evening, 9 o'clock with another interesting video and with another interesting topic on relationships. अगर आपके कोई और सवाल है, you can always DM me, or if you have any other topics that you want me to talk about, you can DM me. I'll be eagerly waiting for you guys. All right, take care. Good night. Bye-bye.